Hi, and welcome to Run Tall with Tim, the YouTube channel that's dedicated to all runners everywhere. I'm Tim, and I upload new running videos every single week. If you're new to the channel, I try to upload new videos on Wednesday and Saturday mornings at 5 a.m., and that's Eastern Time. Oh, and if you want to save yourself a little time, I tried to make that easy for you. I did create chapters. All you have to do is open the description, and there you'll find a timestamp. Just click on the timestamp for the part of the video that you want to watch, and it's going to take you right there. Today, I've got a fun shoe review for you. I'm taking a second look at the Nike Pegasus Trail 2. And the reason that I wanted to do this video for you here today, the first time I reviewed the shoe, it was during the summer months. Well, the weather conditions have changed. Here in Michigan, we're into the wintry months. So we've got a little bit of snow, a little bit of ice out on the roads. I had them out on a little over a 10-mile run today, and I thought I'd share with you just how they performed under these new conditions. So before we get to that, I'm going to show you what it looks like to run in these shoes under these wintry weather conditions. But then when we get back, we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff and a whole lot more. So definitely some winter conditions out there today. The roads are pretty slick, so I had a thin layer of ice on a lot of it. And then with that little bit of dusting of snow, it just made it all that much more slick to try to run on. And so, these shoes did pretty darn well under those conditions. Now, I had them out on a lot of different surfaces. Had them out in some dirt, some concrete pavement, onto the sidewalks, as well as some asphalt. And, they did pretty decent under those conditions. In Michigan, if you want to continue to run year round, there's just no way around it. You're going to have to be out running in these kinds of weather conditions underfoot. And, I hate to have to use or resort to using something like a Yak Track Pro. They're decent, but they're not all that durable and they're not super comfortable to run in. And you install them over, if you're not familiar, you install them over, a regular pair of running shoes, whatever you might be having, a daily trainer, whatever it is you want to be running in. But there's definitely some downsides to using those. They do give you some extra traction, but like I said, they kind of throw you off a little bit. At least I feel it kind of throws off my gait cycle a little bit and my foot strikes. So I prefer to use something like a trail shoe. And so, I'm looking for the best trail shoe that I can use so that I can continue to run during these wintry months. And the Pegasus Trail 2 is certainly going to be at the top of my list after today's run. So let's just dive right in and talk about it. It costs $130 US. That's not terrible, especially since, I'm going to be using this as somewhat of a daily trainer use. So kind of my slower, longer, easy run kind of a things. And I think it fits pretty well in that category. And we'll talk more about, the comfort of the ride when we get to the midsoles, but it was really comfortable. I had it out over 10.5 miles today, and as a road to trail shoe, it was mostly road today. And I didn't really feel all of that impact that you might think that you would running on using a trail shoe under road conditions. So it was really very comfortable, and I think it fit. I think Nike did a good job with having that road to trail aspect of this shoe. I think it performs well under both of those conditions. Now, these are not the lightest shoes out on the market. For men's size 9, they came in at 10.9 ounces on my scales. I think the stated weight on their website is 11.1 ounces, so there was a little variance there, or 307 grams. So let's talk about the upper. As we zoom in, we can see that it has lots of perforations around the toe box. And you may notice around the toe that they extended that outsole rubber up around the toe. And they even included a couple of fangs there. And that did come into play a little bit for me here today. Part of that run sequence, when I was down at the skate park, you can't tell very much from that footage, but there's a pretty decent incline, pretty decent hill there that goes about 1/8 of a mile up the one side and another 1/8 coming back. So we got just about a 1/4 mile track around that park. And it was a little slick trying to get up that hill today. So, I felt like those little bit of toe fangs, even though there's not a whole lot there, it gave me a bit of an advantage to be able to still kind of dig into that, through that light dusting of snow to get down to that pavement to keep me from slipping quite so much that I think I might have had I been in a different shoe. But we can see as we circle our way around, that's pretty thick material. My feet were pretty comfortable. It was cold today, but I have had these out in hot weather, and, there's enough breathability to keep you comfortable on your run, both in that warmer weather as well as in this cooler weather when you don't need quite so much airflow. I think they've struck a pretty good balance with the shoe here. And, they continue those around to the back to the heel counter, up around towards the eyelet chain as well. So let's look at that eyelet chain. It reminds me a lot of the Pegasus 37 shoe that came out this year as well. So you can see on the Pegasus 37, hopefully if I can get into focus, how they have those tabs there. Well, they start out with this eyelet chain with a couple of tabs, down at the beginning, and then towards the top, it's a bit unusual. They go back to a traditional eyelet, but then they have this lace material that runs right along the inside of the shoe. So they actually run on an angle. So they've got these lacing loops, and they run down the shoe this way. So it kind of bands you back and locks your heel in to the shoe. And I found that to be pretty comfortable. I have heard, since I've been running in these for a few months, from other runners who have complained that they could feel that and it wasn't all that comfortable for them, but I didn't have that experience. There is a layer of material between you and those laces that band down into that midsole. So it's not like it's rubbing right up against your sock or your foot. I didn't really notice any discomfort from that, but you do feel that lockdown sensation that you get, and that material, that lace material that they use there, that really holds you in tight. So when you snug those laces in, they're not really going anywhere. They really hold them in place really well. So I did appreciate that, and I found that lockdown feeling to be very secure and made me feel very safe when I was out running. So let's look at the tongue of the shoe. Now it's not, I wouldn't say that it's a fully gusseted tongue. It's really a booty style. When I first reviewed this shoe, I said it was a full gusset, on both sides. But, having been running in the shoe now for a few months, I can say it's really a booty construction, which is nice. I don't know that there's a big difference between the description, but with the booty, it feels a little bit more sock-like when you slide your foot in. And I do feel, really comfortable, like my foot is just being snugged in there. It's just a super comfortable feeling. So I did enjoy that. I do like the booty construction. I've always liked that feel in my running shoes. The Carbon X, the SPE version that I have has that booty construction. I enjoy that too. So this was no exception. I do find it to be super comfortable. So let's look at the padding around the heel, collar, and tab. And as we zoom in and start looking at that, you'll see that it also has a bit of extra material around that heel counter or collar and tab area. And that's a faux gaiter to help keep some of the debris and rocks and things from getting down into your shoe and causing any kind of discomfort. But it has plenty of padding around those areas. And it's kind of focused, I guess, around that heel, tab, and collar. But it was really comfortable around my heel. I didn't have any issues with that at all. So let's look at the counter of the shoe. Lots of structure here. Not as much as like a stability shoe might have, but it has plenty of structure to help keep your heel in place. And as an overpronator, that is something that I often look at just to help give my ankles a bit of a break from some of that overpronation that I can have from time to time in different running shoes. But I didn't have any of those issues in the Pegasus Trail 2. Looking at the midsole, it's got a lot of React foam here. It's a maximum cushion trail shoe, and it's tons of comfort. I love that React foam. I love it in the Pegasus 37. I kind of wish that they didn't have the airbag in the forefoot of the 37, but that's a different review altogether. But I love that React foam. It's very soft underfoot and made for a very comfortable ride out there today. And lots of energy return, lots of bounce back from that. So I did feel like I was getting a bit of help from that midsole material. And there's a ton of it. It's 31 millimeters in the heel and 21s in the forefoot. So you do have about 10 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe. But overall, I would say kudos, Nike, you did a good job. I really did appreciate and felt very comfortable running in the shoe here today and every day that I've had them on my feet. So let's flip them over and we'll look at how they're protecting all of that React foam. It's completely covered in rubber here from the heel to the toe. There's really nothing exposed at all, and there shouldn't be. This is a trail shoe, and in the summer months when I was out running on those trails, there was a ton of rocks and debris and sticks and roots and all kinds of stuff sticking up out of the ground. So I appreciated having all of that outsole rubber to protect that foam, to give it lots of durability. And I've got a lot of miles in these shoes, but goodness, the footage that you're seeing now wasn't recorded when they were new. They were recorded just a few minutes before I put this video together. And gosh, these things look brand new. They really they're really holding up super well. So I'm impressed with the durability of the Pegasus Trail 2 shoe. Oh, and as we look at that outsole, it's got a shockwave pattern, they call it. And, if you were looking at the bottom of the shoe, that center piece, it almost does look like the way that they've designed it, like, a little pebble went in a pond there or something and just kind of spreads out. Well, it's got this V-shaped pattern in the forefoot, but then it's almost an inverted V in the heel area. And that's to help you kind of dig in when you're going uphill to give you some traction, but also to help you dig in going downhill so you don't lose your footing. And that was really important today. Some of those areas were pretty dicey, and I could tell the people that were out on those areas before me, you could see where their scuff marks because they were afraid of slipping and falling coming down those hills. So you could see where they had drugged their feet to give them a sense of safety or stability so they didn't fall. I didn't have that issue. I just plowed right on through with these shoes, and they did a good job. They stuck to the ground really well. So I was impressed with that. So I really enjoyed making this video for you guys. I hope you found it useful for you, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give it a thumbs up. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.